Now, going into the month of February, I want to talk about the scheduling. Now, definitely the league had fucked the Knicks over in the beginning of the season with a long layoff, a short preseason, and a bunch of young guys on the team, giving them probably the league's most 7 back-to-back games in the start of the first half of the scheduling. Now, in the month of February, at least the scheduling is going to start to come down a little bit as far as the burden of it, because the Knicks have a lot of home games and they only have 6 away games out of 15. So the rough portion of our scheduling is nearly over. And especially with guys coming off of injuries or just getting their health back, like Frank Ntilikina, Alec Burke, Reggie Bullock, with these guys coming back into the rotation and just a lot of home games, this is an area now where we can try to play catch up and try to stay around that 7, 6 seed, 8 seed, or even 9th and 10th seed area, at least to get into the playoffs and / knockout rounds. And speaking of the playoffs, I want to talk about the Eastern Conference landscape. As the Eastern Conference in the past couple of years, man, it's changed a lot. We've seen a lot of great players and a lot of teams been formed around this conference ever since that year that Jimmy Butler was on the 76ers and Kawhi went to the Raptors. Low-key, the Eastern Conference, their top 4 teams were no joke, including the Celtics when they had Kyrie. But the larger portions of the NBA media, they tend to disrespect the Eastern Conference and make it seem like they're just a bunch of nobodies. In reality, they have to ask themselves, why in the hell was Damian Lillard and the Swiss cheese defense of the Portland Trailblazers in the Western Conference Finals in 2019? But I'll leave that for a separate episode. But going back to currently the Eastern Conference now, there's a few teams that are at the bottom of the conference, but I'm expecting them to make a major push to get around that 8th seed, 7th seed, or even 5th seed, aka the Miami Heat, which Jimmy Butler has recently got cleared of COVID protocols to work his way back into getting into shape and playing with the team. And also the Toronto Raptors, which they're starting to get back in stride as Pascal Siakam is starting to play more consistent, and they're starting to get into their, their regular mode, because going down to Tampa Bay basically threw that team off. It seems like they're out of their routine and their play is kind of showing for it. But right now they're kind of getting back in stride. So I expect the Toronto Raptors to make a major push to get into the mix, especially during the second half of the season. Now the Knicks right now, the second half of the season for them should be a lot easier than the first half because of the strength of the scheduling, especially with the traveling, all the back-to-back games that they had. I'm very interested to see what the league does, because the league definitely fucked us over with the scheduling, because all the teams that were not in the bubble, like the Golden State Warriors, they receive a pretty easy schedule. Only very few games that they had that were back-to-back. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you know right now, the Golden State Warriors had 4 back-to-backs in the first leg of this season. The Bucks only had 3. The Miami Heat had 3. The Mavericks had 3. And if you notice, all these teams have the names: Luka, Curry, Giannis. The Lakers had 4. That's LeBron James. The Clippers surprisingly had 5. But to throw the Knicks 7 back-to-backs with a young team and a long layoff, I'm surprised we didn't have more injuries than what we actually got. Thank God we're blessed and nothing major happened. Because when you mix in this sickness that's going around with the COVID, along with regular injuries and guys being out because of that, the first half of our season could have been a disaster. And you mix in a short preseason camp with a bunch of new young guys to get their chemistry right. I mean, all these things together, man, I'm telling you, the league low-key was trying to fuck us over, but we persevered through that shit. Tibbs got the team acting right. Even though we kind of fell off after that West Coast trip a little bit, we came down to earth. We still in a good position to enter the month of February and the second half of the season, and it should be a bit smoother sailing going forward. So with the scheduling getting a little bit easier going forward, we got to take advantage of it, because we will be battling the Hawks, the Cavs, and I expect the Raptors and the Heat to make a push. So the bottom half of the Eastern Conference, from 6th seed all the way to the 10th seed, which qualifies to be a knockout team in the playoffs, it's going to be a battle royal to get in that shit. So to the NBA or whoever makes the scheduling, you better act like you know and do us right for the second leg of the season, because we will be watching and keeping tabs.